Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining from the part of the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to the 11th Rise World Summit 2024. This is our fourth day and we are having a good presence of people around this platform. 8,000 people, 63 to 65 countries till now we have been tracked down, and then many cities throughout. So thank you so much for making this as a huge event. Today, we are delighted to have Sneha Ganesh as our esteemed moderator for the fireside chat on breaking molds, nurturing minds, and inclusivity in education and skilling. Sneha is an analyst at MIQ with a triple major degree. That's awesome. And that's in mathematics, statistics, and computer science. As an AWS machine learning scholar and NIAS Maya Fellowship, if I'm not pronouncing it right, sorry Sneha. She brings a wealth of knowledge in data and technology. Apart from her technical powers, Sneha is also a skilled writer, public speaker, and soft skill trainer. Join us in extending a warm welcome to Sneha, our distinguished guest, Dr. Anushila Chatterjee, and all you lovely audience, whoever is listening to us today. I'm going to hand over to Sneha to continue to this fireside chat and meet us to our Dr. Anushila Chatterjee. Thank you so much, Sneha, for taking this
Thank you
session.
so much, Rupali. That was a
Yeah.
very illustrious introduction. I think I still find it weird when someone else is introducing me in third person, but thank you
Yeah, you
so much
deserve
for
all
this.
that one.
I'm really, really glad to be here and to be a part of this conversation with Dr. Anushila. So before we jump into this, Anushila is really, really amazing a person. So I'm going to take a few minutes to just introduce her and tell you who she is, and then we can get started. So she's an internationally trained biomedical scientist who has transitioned into social development. She's passionate about sustainable solutions. She received her PhD in biochemistry from State University of New York, and then her postdoctoral training in microbiology from University of Colorado School of Medicine. She's a national level gold medalist in gymnastics. She's a quilling artist and a certified dog trainer. She currently works at Vigyanshala International as their lead of program and curriculum design. And we will get to know a lot more about what she does and where all of this amazing set of talents and all her very diverse interests came from. So I think warm welcome, Anushila. Thank you for agreeing to be a part of this. And we should get started because all our attendees must be really, really excited to hear about what we have in store today.
Thank you, Sneha. Thank you for the amazing introduction, and thank you for this opportunity to share the stage with you. And also, thank you for making me part of this big initiative. I'm
Thank
looking
you.
forward to the discussion.
Absolutely. So I think, like the topic suggests, breaking molds, nurturing minds, we here mainly talk about skilling and inclusivity in skilling and upskilling. So I think I will start by first asking you, what do you think is the importance of skilling or upskilling in today's world in comparison to regular academic education in institutions, schools, colleges that we do? How do you think skilling initiatives are of a lot more importance and why?
Okay. So I see upskilling or sometimes even reskilling. It's more of like it's an investment in your career,
True.
right? You learn skills that you can directly apply to your role, and it will help you take the next steps in your professional development. And if you see in like today's work environments, they are constantly evolving, right? If your role might change, or if you want your role to improve, and if you have to adapt to the changing workforce or work environment, and you want to be a valuable contributor to the type of work that you are doing, then it is imperative that you upskill and continuously learn new things, and add things to under your bucket, right? So I think that's the importance of upskilling.
Makes complete sense. And I think, especially in today's world, where people keep saying the importance of unlearning and relearning, with everything changing so fast in such a dynamic landscape, without the ability to constantly keep learning new skills, all of us are just going to fall behind and I mean, as much as they say don't be a part of the rat race, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we're all a part of the rat race, and it's very
Exactly.
important to keep the pace.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Completely agree with that.
So after this, I think I'm going to now take a little bit of time to understand more about your personal background to see, because I was very impressed with your introduction and all the very diverse things you've done. So, and clearly there is a lot of upskilling that has gone behind it, apart from just the, I mean, you got a PhD, so that itself is wonderful. But apart from that, that you've done so many things. And I also saw that you absolutely love dogs and you also do quilling. So that's really, really nice. So tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you get into this? Why and how so many diverse interests and the importance of upskilling behind all of it?
Sure. Maybe I can focus a little bit more on my professional journey and how my upskilling helped me transition between two very different worlds, right? I started my journey as an academician, and now I am in social development. So what I did is, when I was a PhD student, scholar, or even when I was a postdoc, I never limited myself, even though my initial interest was to be a professor. I never limited myself to acquiring any skills. Any opportunity that I got, whether it was mentoring an undergraduate, other lab mates, lab technicians, uh, for mentoring, different techniques, whether it is to help them with their career. I always volunteered for those situations. I also volunteered for organizing different types of conferences, which gave me abilities to, communicate with different people from diverse background. It gave me project management skills, networking skills, and I also volunteered to be a teacher when there was a need. So postdocs could work as teachers. There was for specific courses, so that gave me an opportunity to design courses. So I learned how to design courses. I learned how to teach PhD students. I also volunteered to teach hands-on science or outreach activities with school children. So basically, I had, during my scientific training, I developed a diverse set of skills.
Correct.
And although essentially, I wouldn't say when I was doing them, I was doing them intentionally. I enjoyed all these activities. Correct. And I volunteered. And when I was transitioning to social development, I realized that all of these skills that I have developed over the years, they are now helping me in my professional development.
Correct.
And so that also helps me in a way in my current job, right? Because I'm the lead of program and curriculum design. Yeah. So I understand what would students need to transition from an undergraduate STEM degree education to the STEM workforce.
All right.
So I understand the needs of the work environment, and I understand where they are now. And that helps me build a curriculum that is exactly tailored for them.
Makes sense. All right. That's a very inspiring journey. And I remember we were talking about this even before we got into this session. And as much as, of course, I'm not even half as experienced as you are. I just graduated. But I think this is something I completely agree with because I've seen it with people around me and even personally. So even when I was doing my undergraduate degree, which I graduated like 6 months back, I always made it a point to find new things to do. So I think I always say this to people that if there's an opportunity coming your way, don't say no. Because you never know when or where it's going to turn into something very, very fruitful. So, so like you were talking about Vigyanshala, I was a part of an organization called Aspire for Her. So it's a social startup where we work towards career skilling for women and to offer them opportunities to help them stay and persevere in their careers. And so that's where my passion for skilling and for inclusivity came in. And in the course of the multiple projects that I had the opportunity to do with them, even though it was not related to what I was going to do eventually in my education. So I studied math and computers, and I'm a numbers person. That's my best friends. And I work as a data analyst. So but I've taken on roles where I used to lead alliances, I used to do project management, operations management, and each one of these, even though they were so vastly different to what I'm going to actually pursue, they've
Mhm.
added on such essential skills which in some way are now helping contribute. So even be it when
Right.
it came to my interviews, the kind of work I do, the way I mingle with my team, each
Exactly.
of these have had their own ways of helping. So, like you
Exactly.
said, I think it's extremely important that we never shy away from learning something just because it doesn't seem conventional. So, even
Exactly.
if somebody's saying, I'm going to prepare for medicine, if there's an opportunity for you to pick up some other kind of a skill, soft skills,
Mhm.
technical, anything, I think we should always be open to saying yes to that.
Exactly. I think even if you think about it, for the COVID-19 vaccine to be developed so
Correct.
fast, right? It happened because different types of skills, different people from different industries collaborated. And
Correct.
that is possible only if like different industries have the ability to interact with each other, network with each other, and like this crosstalk
Correct.
of like different types of teams, and that you can do with upskilling as well.
Absolutely.
And it's absolutely important and critical to be successful in today's workforce.
Completely. I think this has just given us a very lovely segue into the next question, which is, in today's world, we talk about T-shaped upskilling. So,
Mhm.
and by T-shape, we mean that instead of having just like an eye with one vertical or one core strength, let's
Mhm.
diversify the kind of skill set that we have. And let's look at skills across one, the vertical, which is our
Mhm.
core skill, and then more
Mhm.
kind of skills across the breadth as well, which is the top of
Mhm.
the, so that we have a more diverse approach. So,
Right.
what do you think are some avenues available today which can help with this kind of T-shaped upskilling? And any thoughts on the T and how people can work towards developing their T?
Okay. I mean, like you mentioned, right? The vertical line, like it shows your expertise, discipline, and the knowledge of a particular field. And the
True.
horizontal lines will represent the cross-discipline competencies that you have, right? Or for example, the ability to collaborate with professionals in other industries or roles or teams. So when you have these diverse set of skills along with the depth of knowledge in a particular field, and you include them in your resume while applying for a position, it shows your value to a particular role. It highlights your range of skills. It also illustrates your ability to communicate as well as collaborate.
Correct.
And it demonstrates your hard skills as well as soft skills. Again, both are very critical to be successful in today's world, right?
Correct.
For upskilling, for example, a lot of organizations have realized that it is very important whether you are entering a job or whether you have already landed a job. For example, if you're already into a particular industry, very like big organizations, whether it's IBM, Emphasis, they have their own skilling platforms.
True.
So employees can continuously learn.
Correct.
Then there are skilling platforms, for example, by NASCOM,
Hmm.
right? So there, it's called like the future work skills or something. So you learn different professional skills. For example, program management, or product management,
Correct.
problem solving, communication are a couple of things that you can learn, and that will be again beneficial to the to help you get a job and to be successful and progress in your career.
Makes sense.
uh, for example, and also like for example in my work, right, we work with we have a program called Kalpana She for STEM. It's
Okay.
for undergraduate girls in pursuing their STEM courses in India. Why? Because like 49% of women, like 49% of undergraduates in India are women, but in STEM courses. But when you look at the next phase, whether it's masters or entering the workforce, 2/3 of these girls are actually falling off the pipeline.
Correct.
So to change the statistics, you need to upskill.
Correct. Absolutely.
So they need to develop communication skills. So the critical 21st century skills, communications, critical thinking, creativity. Also, they need to network. For example, very simple, how to use LinkedIn for
Correct.
your networking and professional development.
Yeah.
That is a skill that needs to be developed by undergrads today and land up successful position. And it could be very simple things like how to tailor your CV for a particular job.
Yeah.
The other thing is internships. Finding internships and getting hands-on work experience is again like gives you a foot in the door.
That's correct.
So different types of things that students need to do along with your curriculum. So just doing the curriculum is not enough. And also the other thing I realized while working with girls or women in STEM today is the lack of awareness of opportunities, lack of career understanding of the career spectrum they have after they're doing a particular course.
Correct.
So I think we only think about, let's say, if I'm taking physics for my undergraduate, then my option is I become a professor, or if I don't want to become a professor, then I take a banking job or I apply for government jobs.
Yeah.
But this is not because they are not capable enough. It's like they are not aware of the other career opportunities that they have.
Correct.
And then making that intentional choice. So that's another thing that is important while you are upskilling. Once you are aware of the career spectrum that is available to you, and then you understand, okay, maybe this is a career that would be suitable based on my current skills, my interests, and understanding what kind of lifestyle I want for myself. And then you can upskill, like gather skills that are related to that career of interest.
Makes sense. And like you were mentioning, so I think this has come for me like a very hands-on experience because one, I myself was a part of the whole resume and tailoring process for a very long time when I was trying to graduate. But also since I've started training students and I've been trying to do a lot of this placement-specific training, one thing that I've noticed very specifically is that these days students, when they have to sit for a job, final semester arrives, they will open their laptop, they will start making their resume, they will start making their LinkedIn profile. And it is that awareness of people to understand that your LinkedIn, your resume is not just to give you a job. It's a very constant and consistent process that needs to keep happening through your life. Even though I have a job right now, I would still make sure to update my resume every 1 week, every 1 month, as soon as there's something new that happens. Right. And likewise on LinkedIn as well. People need to understand it's not a job search tool. A professional community that one can form, a global community on LinkedIn, that's something that we don't really get otherwise. And the kind of benefits we can reap off a tool like that, I think that bit of awareness building is extremely essential. So this can now bring me to the next question. So you did mention a lot of these, platforms such as NASCOM or NPTL and other government resources, as well as the various other platforms we have today like Google and LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, Udacity, and all of those. So with all of these resources, do you have any suggestions? Because we all know that all of this is available out there on the internet. But despite that, we notice that the number of people who are making use of this is so low. One, awareness is low, and two, even if there's awareness, the intentional choice to go use this and upskill is not something that's coming up very avidly within all our learners. And specifically from a diversity angle, like you mentioned, the statistics are dropping. So, any suggestions which, or anything in your mind through which we can, one, improve this awareness, improve the ability for people to start upskilling more intentionally, and also make sure that the diversity ratio continues and we're able to make sure our girls are skilled and getting into careers of their choice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is exactly what I'm doing right now. So, like I said, we have a program called Kalpana She for STEM for undergraduate girls, and there um, um, we it's free for all girls whose family income is less than 3 lakh. We also understand that even if parents have the money, they don't always want to support a girl's education. So it's free for anyone who applies for a scholarship. What we do there is it's a two-phase program. The first phase is giving them the opportunity to explore different types of careers. Then they set a particular goal. Then they use different tools for goal setting. For example, how to set up a SMART goal. So you can actually get to your goal, because a lot of the times when we design goals or think about our dreams, just thinking that I want to be an Olympian does not really mean that you will be an Olympian unless you make it a SMART goal, right? Using SMART goal tools and then understanding your abilities, self-reflecting, and then getting the career clarity and designing a career action plan with what kind of employers that will be there, what kind of hard skills and soft skills you need to develop, what are the milestones you need to achieve over the years to get to a career that you want. The other important thing is we always tell the students to develop two career goals, plan A and plan B.
Correct.
So, and they should have some overlap. But if one plan does not work out, does not mean you are stuck. You should always have the ability to transition laterally. You can always come back to plan A eventually, but there should be an option for plan B, and don't give up.
Yes.
The other part of upskilling or understanding these skills, the requirements of the industry is having a mentor. In the second phase of Kalpana, we pair 4 to 5 girls with a industry-specific mentor.
Okay.
They learn problem solving, they learn different 21st century skills, and they learn the scientific methodology to solve a problem.
Okay.
So during this, these girls are sitting in different parts of India, designing scientific projects to perform like frugal science projects that they can perform at their home with the assistance of a mentor. So that also helps build their confidence that I should be able to go into these fields because I have this advanced scientific skills.
Correct.
And I think having a mentor who is your guide, who is your advisor, who helps you make career choices, decisions, gives you information about a particular type of work or work environment, really helps you take the next career leap.
Correct.
And it's not always so. You can also find mentors through LinkedIn, through networking. It's also a continuous process, like you said. It does not happen overnight. You can't just message someone and ask them to be your mentor. It develops slowly. It's a back and forth process. But I think having a mentor who can, who is also invested in your career growth, that really helps you progress in your career.
Makes a lot of sense. And I think, so for me, the most important aspect of having a mentor is having somebody who's walked the path that you want to walk down, and to see that, okay, if she's done it, I can do it too. It's, that it's a very nice place to be in, to see that, okay, if I have these dreams and there's another person who's had similar dreams and they've been able to achieve it, then sure, I can also do it. So even as much as they're probably training you on, let's say, your technical skills or anything else, it's also that morale boost that it gives you. In the course of my entire career today, I've had multiple people I've learned from. And like you said, it's not just one person who's going to probably teach you something. Mentors come in all shapes and sizes, in all walks of your life. And I think there's something to learn from somebody all over the place. It could be someone at work, it could be someone at home, it could be someone you saw on LinkedIn, anywhere.
Right.
But I think it's again that mindset, that openness for us to want to take stuff in. And it's important to cultivate that openness, because if we're not interested, if we ourselves are not making the effort to do it, as much as we have catalysts outside us who want to help, there's no point, because we're not going to get through to you.
Right.
So I think the most important thing is that mindset shift for people to want to actively go ahead and upskill themselves and make these meaningful careers.
Right. I just want to add one more point is the other thing that I think is critical for to have girls continue in their STEM careers, for example, is interactions with the relevant role models. Because girls fall off the pipeline because there are gender stereotypes, there are biases in the workplace. So a lot of the times they think that, for example, if it's a factory, it's a man's job. So we don't see enough women working in the factory. There are women in leadership positions, but we don't always see them. So that makes it really hard for the young fellows to visualize that I can also do what a man is doing. So that kind of exposure. So we have like sessions called Speak Up Kalpana. So we bring in women leaders from different fields, and we ask them to talk about their career journeys.
Okay.
The other thing that helps, that is really critical for these sessions, a lot of the times when we see leaders, we think it's always a CV of success. They have gotten opportunity A, opportunity B. They have always won these prizes, and they have reached the top of their career. But there is a lot of, and I think it's true for every person. There is a CV of challenges and failures as well.
Absolutely.
Right. That and very critical to be successful in life is how you overcome and navigate through those challenges.
Correct.
How do you develop the resilience and perseverance to not give up?
Absolutely.
So that I think also you can learn from different people. If you talk to different people, interact with them more, then only you will be able to learn that. Then only you will be able to develop those milestones, understand the importance of not giving up. That is, I think, also a very critical skill in today's workplace as well.
Yes. Makes complete sense. So I just had like one more thought just crossed my mind, because since we've structured this whole session and called it Breaking Out of Molds and Nurturing Minds, I think including even right now, even though we're all saying that we're a part of this very rapidly developing world, which is so moved by technology, and now we have generative AI and we have ChatGPT ruling the world, despite all of that, there is still an inherent bias in all of us, where we choose to stick to very traditional modes of education. We choose to follow the path that has been laid down for us for centuries now. So even today, we will have parents asking their children engineering or medicine. And that continues to happen despite the fact that we know there's even something called prompt engineering, because ChatGPT exists. So, with so much of this, that mold which has been so carefully shaped and structured and is just set in stone now, it's probably not going to be easy to break out of that mold. But if we had to, let's say, change that mold a little bit and say, okay, you do the rest of whatever you were supposed to do as per what is planned for you, what are certain things that people can do at a student level to help them get access to more of these opportunities, to give them, or anything which can be done to help them build that horizontal of their team, to give them more of these diverse skills, like you said, problem solving, critical thinking, creativity. So alongside regular education, academic education, what do you think we could do?
One thing would be like internships. Hands-on experiences, I think, really helps. rather than, of course, there are skilling platforms like, for example, NASCOM or different skilling platforms that you can talk about, you talked about, right? So those are, of course, important, but the application of the skills that you have learned, it also gives you an extra confidence in your abilities, and you really learn the technique. So internships, if there are opportunities, even, and so internship opportunities, for example, are available again for the traditional roles, right? Engineers have more opportunities to do internships than students who are doing physics, chemistry, life science background. So if we can develop some ways to give them internship opportunities, maybe, or even give them the ability to, let's say, shadow a professional for some time and understand what that person does, what does their day-to-day activities look like, and can they envision themselves in a role like that?
Makes sense.
I think that understanding also will give them an ability to make intentional choices and not just take a job because I need a job or somebody has asked me to apply for this position. And that, again, like, I mean, I cannot emphasize enough the point on networking, right? You can also develop active net, like you can go to conferences, you can interact with different professionals on LinkedIn, maybe conduct informational interviews to understand their type of work, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages. So that's something also that can be done to gain an understanding of the workplaces.
Makes sense. And as a student, I think completely agree with all that you said. And most of the time, people, again, like we started off this session, people don't tend to move outside of their comfort zone. If they've established that this is what I want to do, it just blindly, like a little horse that's going, they're just going to go on and on trying to achieve that one thing. And when there's so much that's available, so even like when you're in college, you have the opportunity to, let's say, maybe do a project with the professor or write a research paper. Or even if they're working on something, the opportunity just try to understand from them, learn what they're doing. If they've already done something in the past, talk to them about their experience, ask them if how you can be a part of something similar. On a smaller scale, even be a part of organizing fests and conferences in college. That gives you so much exposure. We'll have 10,000 speakers who come, so many panelists, and somewhere along the way, a hi, hello, a handshake can really change your life. So I think it's just open to all of those additional things. Could be a volunteering initiative, could probably be just trying to teach another child, go to an NGO, could be any of this, but and with the internet today, there is no dearth of opportunities. So I remember talking about this before this as well, that we all have Google, but it just depends on how well you use Google. Because if you don't know how to search and what you want to search for, even though we have all the information in our hands, there's no point. Because we're not going to find what we really need to find. So I think we've had a very lovely conversation. And any closing notes from your side?
No, network. And I wish, what we have started doing in Vigyan Shala is working with the government to make the curriculum a part of, to make Vigyan Shala's curriculum a part of the college curriculum.
Okay.
Because that increases engagement, that brings the seriousness, and then students understand the importance.
Correct.
So like Vigyan Shala, there are, of course, many platforms doing different types of upskilling. So I think if you want to reach multiple people from different communities, marginalized backgrounds, diverse areas, financial students who are struggling with financial abilities, rural backgrounds, then you would have to reach scale.
Agreed.
And to do anything at scale, the help of the government is always critical. So government partnerships with non-profits or even for profits, that will be critical for changing the workforce and making the workforce or education more inclusive. and preparing the workforce for the new era that's coming up, the ever evolving work environment, if you call it.
Correct. Makes sense. And I mean, one last thing I'd like to add as we close off is that I love to tell people that never use your age as a barrier to anything. There is no right age to start. There is no right age to not start. And even right from school to college to when you're working to when you're scaling the career ladder and reaching any position of seniority, I think it's always a great idea to say yes to new opportunities and to constantly keep learning. And most of the time people just ask me this. So even when I go into work, I'm the youngest of my team. And it's a constant thing that, oh, you're a little kid, but you've done so much. And it's that change. Like, it doesn't have to be a little kid who's doing something or a really old person is doing something. But honestly, the chance for us to do so much in today's world, to take on these new challenges, to explore the kind of opportunities that we have, and most importantly, to give back also. Because as and when we are partaking of these opportunities, we're learning, we're upskilling. It's nice to always give back, because then we're going to create this chain effect where I learn something, I teach another person, that person will teach another person. And then we have that upskilling chain going, which I think is also a very beautiful way to learn and give back.
Yes, absolutely. Completely agree with you on all of the points. And I really align with the last point that you mentioned. Because it is important to support each other and give back to the community. Without that, we will never have an inclusive country, and it's also important for the development of the society.
Correct. Okay, so I think that's what we had planned for today. Do we have any questions from the audience? Naz, in case there is something, you can just let us know if there are any questions, the audience in the chat, or if anybody wants to ask us something. Anything about the topic, anything about Anushala's wonderful work, the kind of stuff she's done in the past, her journey, anything. I think we'll give it a minute if we see anything on the chat. And if there's anything, Naz, you can let us know too. If not, we'll drop our LinkedIn handles on the chat so we can connect with all of you.
Sure.
Yes. I like how people are asking for the LinkedIn and following what you said immediately, saying network. So yes, we're networked with 2 new people today. Okay, so this is my LinkedIn handle for anybody who wishes to connect.
Okay, I'll press my. So, okay, live chat, right? That's what I pressed.
Yes, the general chat.
Yeah, would love to connect with all of you in the audience on LinkedIn and continue to build this community. And again, thank you, Sneha, for making this a wonderful experience. It was really nice talking to you.
Thank you so much. I absolutely enjoyed this. And thank you to the RISE Summit for having us here and for giving us this platform to talk to so many of you and to have such an important and meaningful conversation. Thank you so much, everybody. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of the summit.
Thank you. Take
Thanks,
care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.